And
well, I can ask you, Bill, have you done mental health projects in the district?
I'm not aware of specific mental health projects, but Bob, like many of us in Rotary, we tend to have our place that is our happy place, and foundation and grants was not mine. I'm a youth exchange guy. Those guys. So my knowledge on what we've done historically in the foundation, I mean, I've only been a Rotarian for 24 years, and most of the time I was brain dead and sleeping most of the time. So I'm really not aware of how many we have done. I'm sure we have. I'm sure we have had clubs. I'm just not aware of them.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing we're trying to do with the mental health initiatives is unlink it from grants, because I know the assumption is that there's nothing individuals can do to promote mental health and other than write a check.
Right.
But there's actually a lot that individuals can do and have done. So that's a topic.
Right. And that's something that David can jump in here. David is part of the International Service Committee, and part of that challenge all the time with a club is you get spooked by the amount of paper or work that's involved in doing a grant, right? And sometimes it's overwhelming. And the committee that David serves on, David is our friendship exchange chair for the district. And so we're trying to bring together these groups so that if a person has the idea, so let's say, Bob, tonight somebody was moved by your presentation and had an idea to maybe try something, but they don't even know how to start, right? Now you will be a resource that David will remember. Hey, wasn't there that Bob Anthony guy? And so that you can start to make connections, or the other way around, which happens more for people like David and I, is that we have a little travel lust. We go around the world and we experience something. We may go to a club that is trying to work on that project and looking for a partner. And then that friendship brings us together where we're working collaboratively on a project. And maybe it's in the area of mental health or areas like that. What would you add to that, David?
I agree with what you said. Most of my experiences come, one from Edwin Boss just suggesting to me that I take on a project. The other is through friendship exchanges. When you're over there and you meet people, they're motivated to do something in their neighborhood. And the international projects are wonderful. The amount of money you can get matched makes it so worthwhile, and you really feel like your club can do some great things.
Yeah. Yeah. How about, do you see quite a few, Bob, out of with the RAG, or are you approached by quite a few different districts looking for ideas or for guidance, or what's the most common way that a district reaches out to the Rotary Action Group for mental health?
I think the most common is that someone has a passion and they're seeking funding in a global grant. That's pretty common. Mm-hmm. So we've helped win 2 for India, and we're just putting together a 3rd one right now also for India. And I was involved in other ones for Nigeria and Puerto Rico. Other members of the board for the action group have done different projects in different countries using different resources.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Yeah, just like so many things, doesn't it? It normally and most often requires a champion to get something off the ground. You have to have someone that has a passion or is a champion of it. Sometimes champions don't know they're champions, right? You heard some of your stories tonight where once upon a time I was wandering down a field and, and next thing I know, I'm against human slavery, or that kind of world. That does happen. But oftentimes there's something in your life story that moves you in those areas. And when you were talking, Bob, I was thinking about my daughter. My eldest is drawn to the industry of mental health. She is a licensed therapist. She has her master's degree in psychology. I couldn't be more proud, as any father isn't proud of their daughter. I have to set a time limit when she begins to talk about these things because my ear will fall off because she's passionate about it, right? So the real challenge for a doofus Rotarian like me is how do I get somebody like my 29-year-old daughter super excited about becoming a Rotarian so that she can play the bouncing ball of somebody who's passionate about it. So far she's in Wausau, swing and a miss, but hopefully something comes together at some point because she's an example of a person that has the passion.
Yeah, and she may not be aware that there's a lot of reach, for example, into the college ages. We're doing in Canada a district conference that's dedicated their entire conference 1 year from now to mental health and wellness promotion. So they've literally got Ryla from 3 universities around Ottawa who have completed this training I mentioned, the web-based training, and they're using other Rotary connections to bring it into high schools where these college kids are the ones teaching it to the high school ages. So that's evolving, but they always need a resource, a local resource to be in the room. They may not be presenting, but they want a psychologist in the room just in case, someone actually needs help in the moment. So
Right.
That type of opportunity may be present in the community where she lives.
Yeah. Go ahead, David. You're going to say something.
I want to try to tell Priscilla. I know we told Edward to turn on his camera and microphone, but I think Priscilla just joined recently.
I see her listed.
So if you can figure out how to turn on your camera and microphone, we would love to hear your voice. Also, Dennis.
Yeah.
Hello, Karen is here. Karen, if you hit the share audio, the blue button, it should bring you in.
See the audio mute just went on for me there. The system is very smart. If you can turn on your video and audio of the screen.
Yeah, it should be a blue button at the top.
Oh, how about a blue button at the top?
Upper right.
So David can hear us. For some reason, we can't hear him if he's tried to speak.
You can hear me now?
Oh, sure. I'm sorry. I'm not tying the name. I'm sorry. Yes. Good to see you, David.
Yeah, I come. I'm doing fine. I hearing everybody and seeing everybody, so it's working right now.
Yay.
Awesome.
And
you just joined the blue button on the top, David?
Well, when I first did the blue button, it came up and said camera unavailable, and then I had to reboot my computer. So it took a while, but I'm here and it's working.
And that's why you have this unique look, or is your camera like right on the bottom of you're the most unique laptop in the world, or where is
No, what's happened? I was in the living room. We're on vacation, and we're in the living room. My wife doesn't really want to be involved, so she wanted me not to interfere with what she's doing. So I had to move it to the bedroom, and there's only one little table to set it on here. So I'm on the floor looking up at the.
That's Rotary dedication.
I did see you on vacation. Any luck, Bob? I didn't see anybody trying to get in. Normally, Bob, when they click the button to do that, we get a little pop-up saying you click this button and all of a sudden their picture comes up. We're kind of like a Zoom where you're accepting the person into the room.
Mm-hmm.
But I have not received a single one of those, and either of you, Megan, right?
Nope, I haven't.
And I'm on the direct messages. I've sent all three of them a direct message. Where's our group? So can your folks, do you think, Bob, see the group chat, the regular chat? The session chat or the event chat?
I see the chat.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. That sounds like a Megan typage. Yep.
No, that was probably Brent.
Oh,
He beat me
Super
to
Bowl.
it.
all right.
He can type so fast.
Yeah. As we recognize, as I was giving him crud yesterday or this morning or this afternoon, you could tell by his music choices that he's a Dungeons and Dragons guy. So he's fast as he can just kind of type like a fast, crazy person. So he's going to hate me for saying that. But there you go. Okay, well, let's try to get. No one can outtake me. Oh, here we go. Hey, Dennis is coming in. Dennis figured out how to get in. Come on, Dennis. I just said yes to you.
And I'm going to go into the background so more people can come on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Megan.
Here comes Francis. Okay. I just clicked yes to Dennis, but he didn't come in. Where did he go?
It takes just a minute.
Okay. All right, Francis, you're here. I got to pop over and say hi to somebody else. So he in the people session, Francis, Bob has like 2 or 3 people that are there, and we've been trying to chat with them to say, hit the blue button to come in, and it's just they're not connecting in.
Right.
And unlike Bob, I think Bob has actually talked with them or maybe texted with them. We've gotten no communication from them so far. Right, Bob? Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Right.
I'm actually having some difficulties myself.
All right. Well, I'll be back in a few seconds.
All right. Yeah, so we're seeing folks' names listed like Mary and Dennis. But until they click on the audio button or the video button, we won't hear them.
Correct.
I think I'm back.
You are back.
Okay, excellent. So, Bob, I actually am fascinated by your program. Especially the PIP,
Yeah,
the problem.
so it is something that's been around 50 years, if you can believe it. And there's actually clinical studies done where they use it as a treatment for depression. It's got a more well-known label of creative problem solving or brainstorming. The Sid Parnes group developed it, and until a few years ago, it was always delivered in some academic format. I mean, the book on brainstorming is this thick, and there's only 6 steps to it. What we figured out, I worked with a psychologist in Boston. What we figured out is that of the 6 steps, half we do normally. We tend as humans to converge immediately on what we think is a problem, what we think is a solution, and then we move on. And that converging probably has a lot of evolutionary value because you didn't have time to think, maybe. But what it doesn't allow you to do is reframe the question a few different ways. And it does not allow you to consider lots of wild and crazy ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And what they've found consistently in many different ways of measuring it is if you've got 50 crazy ideas, something occurs here and we pick 3 of them or 2 of them, and it's a novel approach to a problem. And it's true in construction, it's true, true in finance, it's true in interrelationships. So PIP really just takes those 6 steps and drops it down to 3, asking write the problem, restate the problem 3 times, pick one of those 4 that you wrote, and now you have a problem statement. And that exercise of writing it 3 different ways is actually the divergent thinking that we don't do automatically. So it forced that for the problem statement. And then for the ideas, it literally says there are no bad ideas for the next minute. Write down every stupid thing you can think of, including dangerous ideas, illegal ideas, ideas that you would never ever want someone to suggest. And a lot of things come out of that, especially when you're able to laugh, because it reduces the stress. When you end the minute or whatever time you allotted for, no judgment, then finally you converge and pick one or two or three of those silly ideas that actually make some sense. And the final step then is the plan, writing down who would have to do something by what date, and just making sure the first step is immediate. First step is within 24 hours. So you actually start on your plan.
Oh,
So,
I like that.
yeah,
You
so
get
there's
movement
actually,
in yourself and your thinking.
say again?
You get movement by that 24 hour. You're not just thinking, you're starting the action process by taking that, even whatever the smallest step is in 24 hours to get your brain going down that path.
And you're also recognizing you need help, because typically every task should not have Francis's name on it. Ideally, you think maybe Dave would help you on something and Megan would help you on something else. We actually build up a little bit of a collaboration just by writing down the plan and who's responsible for the task. The toolkit that's online is within that regonmentalhealth.org.
Uh-huh.
And there's a resources tab in there. And I encourage you to take a look at the website and download it. And I've always enjoyed it. I think it's a fun and funny, quick way to look at problems differently and actually come up with solutions that work. I've taken surveys from a lot of younger people, and they also talk about it forcing them to break massive problems into something manageable.
Mm-hmm.
And once they solve that, they'll go on to a next little piece. So
Yeah.
it moves the hopeless scenario that it gives you something under your control.
So I just had an interesting thought that I wonder if you could apply it. One of the things we've been talking about is doing a kind of health check and visioning strategic planning within the clubs.
Yep.
I wonder if you could take some of that to, it's not necessarily a problem, but in some ways it's what do you want to be doing as a club to move the club forward over the next 1 to 3 years. So do you see that it could be applied, some of those steps? And
Yeah, the magic is that divergent thinking, just forcing the divergent thinking, restating the vision a few times, and then allowing a period of collecting ideas without judgment. So yes, all you need to do is change the form from saying a problem statement to the vision statement.
To the vision statement. Yeah,
and once
awesome.
they write that once, you ask them to rewrite it a few times. And as a club, perhaps you pick one vision statement that everybody is attracted to addressing.
Great. So my second question is, our club is been very focused on youth and literacy, and we've had exchange. We've been big into exchange students, and obviously everyone knows we've had the last couple of years off. So we've been looking for something to engage with youth in the community and still. So I like the program, and I know a lot. You've gone out to work
Excuse
with
me just a second, Francis.
society.
David, I think we need to ask you to mute, because that sound that I'm hearing is coming from your speaker.
You think so? Because I hear a sound. I'll give it a try. Right.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Francis.
Okay, that's okay.
Could you repeat that? You were talking about, I think, Interact Teens.
Well, it was it was teens, and we've had youth exchange students. And so now we have a little bit of a gap. We're trying to find some things. And anxiety is so high, and maybe it's been, but it just feels really high. I have a teen at home too. And I liked the program, and I'm just curious how you begin to introduce it in. Would it be through an Interact? Is it through a school counselor, or when it's new to your area? Any first steps? What is that baby step we can take to start to see who we could work with in our community?
Yeah. So obviously the school is the most difficult barrier. The easiest way I found was with youth groups, and typically the easiest ones of all were church or synagogue youth groups. because there's often a youth minister, and the teens that were comfortable becoming peer leaders feel empowered. They take the training online just like the adults would. And then those one or two teens deliver it to that small youth group within their congregation. They'll pick up a couple more followers, and that group of then 4 or 6 peer leaders get comfortable identifying friends, either in the school, or we've done boys and girls clubs. And we've done other peer mentoring programs in downtown Boston. So our teens were teaching their teens, and then those kids were, give it their own spin. So it is.
So we would do better to kind of have a train the trainer and find a few teens in different youth programs, boys and girls clubs.
Yeah, that's the easiest, wherever you have a connection. So our original group was not called Interact. Our original group doing this before I was in Rotary was called iGrow. And it's something like gathering around their wellness. I forgot what I was. But later, I joined Rotary, and I asked some of those teens to form an Interact club. Our club didn't actually have an Interact club, and they did. And ultimately, the kids that became Interact peer mentors brought it to our entire Wellesley High School. So there was, in one day, the seniors had a free day, if you will. The freshmen had a free day, and the other 2 grades were doing exams. So the senior interactors delivered the entire curriculum to the entire freshman grade. So there's over 300 kids that participated, and they did a terrific job. They did a pre-survey and post-survey, just like a normal curriculum run by the school. And the outcomes that they measured were actually higher than when the adults teach that same course at other high schools. So it was very successful.
That gives me a lot of ideas.
And we are happy to help. So that's what the Rotary Action Group is all about, is connecting people with resources when they need it. I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you're on the line, but there's a Rotaract group doing something very similar to what I just described. They completed the training online, and then they're bringing it to other colleges, and they're planning to bring it to other high schools.
All across the U.S. or in your
around Ottawa.
Okay.
So it's a district-wide effort. And what they're preparing for is their district conference that's coming up in about 10 months. And these are the things that they're hoping will be presented by the Rotaractors at the conference.
Yeah. I know it's a different, but one of the things that I learned recently that shouldn't have surprised me, but did, was just when you're talking about reframing, that we have 3 negative thoughts for every 1 positive thought typically throughout our day. That's so depressing. It's probably true, but that, I think your whole thing around reframing so that we have more different thinking is kind of the testament to how do you not just see one thing which can seem negative.
Yeah, I've heard that expressed a lot of different ways, even when we say, I should have done this, as opposed to what you're supposed to say is, oh, I could have done this. Next time I can do that.
Yeah, we kind of joke in my house that should is a 4-letter word. I'm hogging all the time. I know there's some other people out there.
Yeah, I know Mary's online. I haven't seen her turn on the microphone or camera. And Ed is out there, but we haven't heard from Ed.
When we share we recorded the sessions, and when we share them, I have all the links to your workbook, and we'll share your page and put all that together so that people can download that along with when they see the video recording.
Perfect. I'll read you one as well that's not on the slide. If you want to go directly to that PIP toolkit, there's a website that allows you to shorten the links. And
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about? This one's
Yeah.
called Tiny URL.
Oh,
oh
yeah.
yeah, tiny URL.
So for the
I
PIP,
when I put the hyperlinks in, I have a way to do that where we just title it and then in the link.
Great.
So we'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Great.
Yeah. All right. Mary said she's just listening. So that's good. So any other thoughts on ways to use any of your program in a club, just that are looking for the baby steps to take?
Same, I led with the PIP because it's a universal tool, and it's one of those things that after you do it, you say, well, of course, that's common sense. And I kind of do that all the time anyway, but we don't. And so just having it as a one-page worksheet does help move things along. So a board meeting, a Rotary board meeting would be a place to just introduce the worksheet when the topic comes up. And
That's an excellent idea.
yeah, it can be done in 15 minutes. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a 2-hour visioning process.
All right, very good. Well, we are at the 8:30, almost 8:40 time frame. I know we started a little late, so I think we'll just put it out there for any last questions. And Megan, I know I intruded on yours, so I'm going to jump to my other ones and let you close us out. Thanks so much, Bob and David, for being here.
Thank you.
And, I will follow up with you later, Bob.
Terrific. Thanks again, Francis. David, thank you so much. I know this was your watch for us. I'm grateful. And it was that microphone, when that got muted, the scratching stopped. So
I've been trying to figure out that I'm outdoors sitting on the patio, and there's an air conditioner running off about 100 yards off that way, and it must be just enough noise to make that little noise that was occurring. Weird.
Yeah.
I'm amazed my phone could.
Technology nowadays.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's say goodnight. Thank you. And Megan, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And just an FYI, in case you didn't know, Frances is actually president-elect coming up for her club.
Perfect.
So, great visionary. I'm sorry?
What club?
Madison Breakfast.
Oh, very good.
So,
excellent.
Yeah, she's very excited. So I'm sure she was farming for ideas coming up. They did a great job doing the leap to Zoom meetings, but they are a very social group, and so they are very much looking forward to getting back together in person for their breakfast meetings.
So we have been live meeting since the holidays. So I think, in fact, before the holidays, we were live collecting gifts for the Christmas tree in the club. So Florida's been open, and we all survived.
Yeah. Wisconsin was much slower at reopening. We're barely getting to the point of the mandates have all been lifted by the Wisconsin Supreme Court, but the county I'm in, which is in the capital of Madison, so Dane County, there's still a lot of adherence to the social distancing and wearing of masks until the vaccine rates get a little higher.
Well, when you start sitting with friends again at a table, it's a joy. You feel like a weight is off your shoulders and you forgot how much you liked that person.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to it when I get my second shot. Next week, yeah.
Perfect.
So
Well, enjoy.
I'm looking forward to warmer weather too.
Yeah.
So well, if there's nothing else, I mean, people, can feel free to leave. None of the other sessions are open because we're actually past the time, so the windows are
Sure.
closed. So we can either stay on and keep talking, or people can go ahead and log off and enjoy the rest of their evening.
Yeah, I think it's a good point to wrap up.
Okay.
And it sounds like you're making it possible for people to send emails later, so
Yes.
that's great.
Yep. Can send emails, and like Francis said, we're going to be packaging up the individual 10-minute sessions and putting them out to be viewed afterwards. It's just going to take a little bit of time because of the technology involved to splice it all together and get it uploaded, but it will be made available later, and we'll announce it to the whole district.
Perfect. All right.
So,
You have a good night, Megan.
well, thank you, Bob. It's very nice to make your acquaintance, local Floridian, and take care. And I hope our paths cross again sometime.
I look forward to that.
And David,
night.
you as well.
Enjoyed it, and have a good evening. Anxious to get back to take it.
Oh yes, you're fully deserving of that.
Good night, David.
Okay, bye-bye,
Good night.
everyone.